You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I gotta tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roast even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bobsledder's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another great episode of the Behind Ears podcast. I am your host tonight, your solo host once again, Mr. Chris, while Uncle Danny is out on special assignment tonight. That's right, he's not going to be able to be with us, and that's okay. But I'll tell you what, it was a little unexpected that he wasn't going to be able to be here, so we're going to do kind of an Ask Me Anything, so to speak. This is going to be filled with a lot of really cool listener participation, and I'm looking forward to it as well. We're not necessarily going to be doing any kind of a call-in tonight, but I'm going to be reading comments, and I'm really hoping to get some good feedback from everybody. Hey, when I say Ask Me Anything, go ahead. Ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth. My life's an open book. I'm completely transparent. Although some people think I'm a little thick. I don't know what that means, but hey, it's one of those cases. Feel free to go ahead and drop a comment in the dibbly-doo thingy below, and let's get talking. So, last episode, we kind of had what's the best way of putting it? We had some issues, technical issues, and it was also one of those cases where Danny was actually out sick. And, unfortunately, the conversation I had planned out was best between him and I, mainly because of some of the things that we've kind of talked about a little bit before the show. No, I'm not going to tell you when my trip is. You know the rules, Mary. Stop asking. It's not going to be told. Nobody knows when I'm going. In fact, I don't even know if I am going or when I'm going. All I know is that I have plane tickets, and it's sometime between, say it with me, tomorrow and Christmas. We all know the rules. Mr. Chris doesn't tell you when I'm going to be there. However, you know that it's at least 2 trips, I've said this before, between tomorrow and Christmas. But if you have a trip question, I'm actually be more than happy to tell you. Well, no, Mary, you didn't necessarily ask, but this is insinuated. That's okay. But yes, as Maureen said, it's any time between now and Christmas. I will tell you this. You can ask me anything except my trip. There you go. I like that. And anytime that you can do an ETLA, that's an extended 3-letter acronym, that's always fun. So, Enrique, you get points just for that. I don't mind if you ask me about my trip. I'm just not going to tell you when. That's the fun part. I will tell you that this is going to be a really cool and different trip just because it's got my son-in-law to be with us. I will tell you that we are staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge over at the Kidani Village side, and I will tell you it is going to be in a 1-bedroom villa. I'm also going to be able to tell you that yes, I am also staying at one of the Cars suites over at Art of Animation for a couple nights as well. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like those are the main points. I know those are the highlights. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, for this trip. And I say it like that because it's going to be filled with a lot of new and interesting things. And I say that because, my son-in-law he's never been to Disney. So this is going to be really interesting. And you never really get to know somebody unless, you're going to be following them through something that they've never experienced before. And so I'm really looking forward to that. So, well, I'm going to go through some of the comments here. First off, Heather basically says, I'll tell you that I am leaving for Disney on Monday. You know what? There is no better way to spend a Monday than to head down to Florida. It makes that whole thing about Monday being crap, makes it a whole lot better. That is really cool. Let's see. Why are there no longer perks for stockholders? Why do anytime people take away perks? There haven't been a lot of perks for stockholders for quite some time, from what I gather. I'm not a stockholder at Disney. Not ashamed to say it. It doesn't make me any less of a Disney fan just because I don't have stock. But, even I own stock in the company that I work for. There's not a whole lot of perks being a stockholder there either. The fact of the matter is that I think the idea of perks is a little bit overrated these days. I think it's one of those cases where, and I'm speaking for many different companies because I've talked to many of my friends and we all own stock within the companies from which we work. And, the fact of the matter is perks cost money. And I know it seems like a lot of these companies make hand over fist. But the fact of the matter is that they're perks. Perks can always go away. Perks can always be added. Perks can always be changed. It's also, when you use the term perk, it's just something that, may or may not exist in the future. And the interesting part of that is, especially when we talk about DVC perks, there's a lot of DVC members that thinks that Disney has taken away a lot of DVC perks. Well, the fact of the matter is that things do change over time. And why do you have perks in the first place? It's to draw more people into whatever you're offering perks for. So you have additional perks to draw you into being a DVC member. You have more perks in order for you to want to be a stockholder, because those are all investments. It's not necessarily free stuff. You have to pay for it somehow, whether it be stock or membership or whatever. That's just my 2 cents. But I'm not a stockholder for Disney, at least not yet. We'll have to see what the next year brings, because I'm going to probably expand my portfolio a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to see. Mary mentions Kidani is beautiful. It is. I really do love Kidani Village. And, even though my home resort is Saratoga, we've actually spent more time at Animal Kingdom Lodge than any other DVC resort. It's actually really cool. So, you know what? Interesting. I wasn't going to put this up here at first, Christine, a little bit, because it might be a little controversial, but I think being a bigger guy, I'm going to put that. Christine basically says, did you see the article of the woman that said Universal Studios Harry Potter ride workers fat shamed her and told her getting on the ride was a safety issue, and now she's wanting them to make their rides more plus-size friendly? You ever hear that phrase, that there's always 3 sides to every story? Somehow I believe there's more than one side to this. I am not discrediting that person. I saw the article as well. I'm not discrediting it. I'm not saying that they didn't do anything like that. I'm not saying that she didn't feel bad for it or what have you. I'm not going there. I'm a big guy. I'm 6 foot tall and 300 and some odd pounds. I'm a big guy. I know I am purposely losing weight right now, specifically so that by the time I get to Disney, whenever that might be, that I hope to not have any issues for Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage was a little tight for me last time, but I was still able to do it. Here's the thing. As a big guy, I haven't necessarily been fat shamed, but I have done the walk of shame, as it's been said. And I've kind of done it proudly. Where have I done it more, though? Like a Six Flags or something like that, more than anywhere else. There's only one attraction at Disney that I've not been able to actually ride. Oh, you know what? I take that back. Two. And actually, you know what? Both rides that I haven't really been able to ride easily, both of them no longer exist. The first one is Cyberspace Mountain. I was able to ride it once or twice out of like 4 times. But it hit my shoulders, not necessarily my belly or anything. I have some pretty big shoulders. And I couldn't get into the harness easily. And the second one was the Sum of All Thrills ride, because it also has like a seat and a harness, and it too kept on hitting on my shoulders. I really couldn't do anything about it. Now, I understand that this person probably felt a lot of frustration. Okay. I read the article. I don't have it memorized. I'm kind of just doing this off the cuff. But I cannot imagine that cast members over at the Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios, and yes, I call them cast members. I know they're not Disney, but you know, I don't want to call them employees or workers. I'll just call them cast members. I highly doubt that they did anything purposely to call her out because she could not fit. Was she frustrated? I bet you she was. And I bet you that perception became her reality. Now, do I think that all rides need to be more plus size friendly? No, I don't. I'm a plus size guy. The thing of it is that, you know, the problem of it is that if you try to make things more plus size friendly, there will always still be somebody that still can't ride it. So there has to be something of a cross section of people that, you know, are still poo sized. I like poo sized better. I'm sorry. And eventually, you know, people are going to have body types that are not going to be able to fit into attractions so well. It is what it is. I know that when I did the test vehicle at Flight of Passage, the guy looked at me and said, "I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to ride." I felt bad. You know, I'm like, okay, fine. I understand. But I still went through the queue and I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to try. I know in the back of my mind that if for some reason I could not really actually fit into the ride vehicle, I was going to have to excuse myself from the attraction and let my family ride by myself or by themselves. And that was okay to me. I wasn't going to spoil their fun because me being a bigger guy. They love me for who I am. And that's the best thing in the world. But I was able to fit. It worked. Not a big deal. Well, not a big deal to me. But the thing is that even for Flight of Passage, you don't have to be poo-sized necessarily to not fit. There have been men that have been like 6'8" that were really big and muscular that couldn't fit on the attraction because it wouldn't fit like their legs or something like that. So the thing is that where do you draw the line? Where do you actually draw the line when you draw the lines to design the rides? I will tell you that, you know, the last time I went to Six Flags Great America near Chicago, there was only one. Oh no, I take it back. I did 2 attractions let me rephrase this. I did 2 attractions that I know that I've loved in the past. One was the Raging Cajun. Now, the funny part about that is that Raging Cajun is virtually the same identical attraction as Primeval Whirl. So I knew I was going to be able to fit on that. No big deal. The other one was the American Eagle, which is like their big wooden roller coaster, their premier roller coaster. That was a tight fit. I swear to you, that ride was designed with a 12-year-old boy's behind in mind because it was so small. I'm like, my gosh, it was ridiculous. And I was in a row by myself. That was horrible. But the thing is that I've never had a problem with Disney. I'm a big guy. I'm not saying that anybody who's basically the same amount of poundage I am wouldn't have a problem. It's all about body type. It's about your body size. But I think Disney does a really good job of trying to be sensitive about that. I'm really sorry that this person had that experience, if it is as she says. Although there were a lot of people that were kind of rolling their eyes a little bit, that afterwards she's got a big smile on her face with a beer and a churro. At least that's what the picture depicted. First off, I don't know how that would go well. Beer and a churro? I don't know. We'll just have to see how that goes. So I don't necessarily know. I don't have a real big opinion other than the fact that I think Disney does a good job. And I think eventually you're going to someone's going to have to draw the line somewhere. That's the thing. There has to be physical limitations to any attraction for safety purposes. It is what it is. It's one of those cases. Yep, Mary is a split stay. I am staying a couple different places. I really do super like it. Timothy, you ask, are the suites at a lower end resort any good? I haven't stayed at any of the suites at, like, say, Art of Animation, or is it All-Star Music? I haven't stayed at those family suites yet, but they look like they do what, basically you have the same style, same feel of, the Value Resort, but you're going to be able to sleep more people. If you like the Value Resort for what it is, you're probably going to have a nice experience there. I think in a lot of cases, you kind of like, we like to stay at, obviously at DVC resorts. We like to stay at larger suites, doesn't give us the room, but we also spend a lot of time at the resort itself, not necessarily in the room, but at the resort. You kind of have to keep that in mind too. So if you like the resort in of itself, I don't think you're really going to have a problem with suites at any lower end resort. Now, if you're talking about non-Disney resort hotels, I'll be honest with you. The only places I stay that usually have, suites hotel wise, and this is not a plug for them, this is just where I usually stay, would be the Embassy Suites or Homewood Suites. And I really like their rooms. I usually find them to be very enjoyable. I find them to be very roomy, but you're staying off site. And for me, I'm not really a big fan of staying off site. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. Let's see. Will the hotel stay being during their peak season or value season? Come on, John. You're trying to get me to slip up. Ain't going to happen. But thanks for playing. Let's see. It'd be fun to show him the favorites. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So, Christine basically says, we love the suites at Art of Animation. Nemo is awesome. That is really cool. I'm really, really liking that. And Brunette also mentions the Art of Animation suites were really good and she enjoyed it. So hopefully that kind of gives you, a little bit of an understanding there. Enrique mentioned, I took my never been mother last February. Awesome to watch her wow face. That is really cool. I like that. That's really cool. And Aaron also mentioned, going back to the whole perks idea, the DVC perks are pretty awesome. The DVC after hours parties are great. I agree, Aaron. They're really cool. And I do have a little bit of a mixed feeling with it. I wish they had more, because out of the number of years that they've actually had those particular after hours events for DVC members, I've only been able to hit one of them, and it was spectacular. Now that's one thing, so I kind of feel like when I miss out, I'm like, okay, I'm missing it out by a week or two here, or this, that, and the other. I can't get upset, but then again, for the longest time, I've never been able to try out any of those because, my timing doesn't work, and I'm not revolving my timing around a free perk type of thing. Although last summer I did get to see, I got an email basically inviting me to see a pre-release preview of Cars 3 at the AMC theaters. That was fabulous. That was absolutely really cool too. So I guess maybe twice out of the number of years that I've been there. Let's see. Please tell me that you are eating at Sanaa, Heather wishes to ask. Of course I'm eating at Sanaa. Seriously? Oh my gosh, it's like the first place we're hitting. And we're going to get off the bus. We're going to check in. We're going to go downstairs and hit Sanaa. Bread service, anybody? Of course. Extra sauces? You know it. I am going to sincerely enjoy that lunch. It's kind of like a celebratory lunch. It's like, yay, we finally made it. Because I do know that we're taking a flight that's like, it leaves at like 0600. You know what the O stands for? Oh my gosh, it's early. So let's see. Any special guests that you can name that you will have on the marathon show? John, I don't have the list in front of me and I don't want to mess up my list. I will tell you this. We've got a lot of really cool podcasters on. We've got other Disney personalities, some that you may listen to or enjoy. We have a representative going to be joining us from Give Kids the World. We've got one of the coordinators for the Indie Disney Meet is going to be joining us as well. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be so much talking that day. If it does, it's going to probably go 12 hours easy if we're not careful. And I'm assuming that no one's going to back out either. So it's going to be really kind of a long day and it's going to be really fun. So we will be actually releasing those names here in just a little bit since we are only just over a week out. Jen, testing seats. Exactly. Your dad tried to get on the Hulk ride and it didn't go over too well. He's a big guy, couldn't fit in the tester seat. I get it. It's, but I've always told people, even if you don't fit, at least give it a try. And if it doesn't work, fine. Just kind of be mentally prepared for it. I kind of think Disney trips are half mental, half physical. We'll have to see how that goes. Mary actually also mentioned back to the whole size thing. It's really hard to get in and out of Mine Train with bad knees. Hey, it's hard to get in and out of Mine Train with good knees. Let me go ahead and tell you that right now. Small World is horrible for people with leg issues too. Her brother is tall and got stuck in the front row last time. His legs went numb. I'll tell you what, talking about legs going numb. Oh, my legs went numb when I got stuck on Pirates. Oi. Yeah, that's really, that's something to be said. Christine also wanted to make a comment referring to the article. Most rides at Universal are not poo size friendly. I've never been. I'm going to go off of feedback like that, and it kind of makes me feel, bad for a person such as the woman in the article. But again, I think that article is more about how she was treated. Or how she perceived that she was treated. And for some reason, I don't think Universal employees are going to shame somebody. I mean, obviously, if they say, I'm sorry, but you can't ride, and someone refuses, I don't know if that's the case. It's just like, you're going to have to accept it. I'm really sorry to hear that. But Jerry mentioned they fitted the Hulk coaster now with bigger seats, but only 2 rows. 3rd from the front and 3rd from the back. And her husband was able to fit in it. Good. That's really kind of cool. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. It's one of the, Enrique mentions also, being big and tall doesn't help. I'm in as the same boat. Yeah. Big and tall, and I don't consider Grant, I am big. I'm a big guy. Anybody ever see me in the park that has a Behind the Ears podcast shirt? It's me because I'm big. Although Danny's big. Although Danny has a beard. So that's how you tell both of us. Danny is not necessarily a svelte person either. I agree, though, that, Disney does do a good job with guests when it comes to that. So Heather actually mentions I always have trouble getting in and out of Space Mountain. One time I was still standing trying to get out and they pulled it forward, almost fell out. That's a mistake on the ride operator. that, to be very honest, because I've never had that happen. But, you know, the interesting part is that my trick for getting out is, you know, a lot of times people will try to push themselves upward. I don't get stuck in the front, but I usually try to grab the seat in front of me, and I use that as leverage to kind of pull myself up. That's how I've been able to get out of Space Mountain. Although I will say it's a tight fit. I mean, you know, your knees are at your nose, and you hope you don't hit a bump. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Long legs don't help either. Yeah, exactly. And Christine also mentions, I've heard that cast members are amazing at Flight of Passage, trying to get people to fit on the ride. I'll agree. I mean, there's only so much a cast member can do to try to help you enjoy an attraction. There are safety limitations to all these attractions. And that is just something everybody has to be careful of. So Aaron asked me any ADRs. I know of one off the top of my head. We are going to have we're going to go to the Teppan Dining over at Restaurant Mitsukoshi. That's going to be really fun. We haven't done that in years, and I know that my son-in-law to be loves that kind of cooking. So we're going to do something that I know that he enjoys. Trying to think where else we actually have ADRs. My wife is the one that takes care of all the ADRs. I'm going to be really honest. I mean, she gets my input and everything, but she's the one that helps the schedule part, because she'll do it while I'm at work and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I am looking forward to that. I haven't been there in a while. He also likes good sushi. I don't think that you can go wrong with sushi there. I think it's going to be pretty fabulous. And Mary also going back to the rooms. Kidani is great because the one bedrooms have 2 bathrooms. Yup, absolutely love it. And the sleeper chair. You're absolutely right, which is why we're actually staying there this coming this coming trip, because you thought I was going to slip up, didn't you? This coming trip, only because, I mean, there's gonna be 5 of us. Gotta sleep 5. It's kind of cool. So we'll have to figure that out. Let's see. Does anybody know about the Max Pass in Disneyland? I know very little, to be honest with you. It is an extra cost feature, and you do get it. It acts kind of as a, you know, pre-picked fast pass, you know, like it is at Walt Disney World, but there is an extra cost to it. There are some people that say that it's absolutely worth it. And there are some say that they don't think they got the most out of it. For $10 a person per day, I think it is, you know, quite honestly, I'd say give it a try. Mainly because I think Disneyland trips tend to be a little shorter, because people think that there's not as much to do. And I'll be honest, I had 2.5 days. 2.5 days? Maybe it was 3 days. The last time I went to Disneyland, and I wish I had one more day. Because by the time I finally got to really having a feel like where I knew everything, it was time to go. And that was kind of a bummer. So, but I would say, you know, it's something I can look into, and we can definitely talk about it in a future show. So that's kind of fun. Let's see. I'm going to flip through some things here. Maureen thinks that Art of Animation is cool, even just to walk around and see replicas from cars. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, and eat Casey's corn dog nuggets. Of course, because as Christine says, carbs don't count at Disney, right? I wish that was really the case. Let's see. Any word on the nighttime parade? Nope. It's a simple answer. I don't think we're going to get a nighttime parade for a while. I just don't think so. I mean, there's the rumors and hearsay and things like that, but we're not going to get a nighttime parade for a while. I'll be honest with you, though. I think getting a regular nighttime parade back is going to be, I think it's going to be difficult. And I'll tell you why. And I'm kind of coming up with this as I'm thinking. With Happily Ever After being very castle centric, and being that people have been lining the streets for hours for Happily Ever After, it would be very difficult to try to have a parade come through there. for the timing purposes alone. That I know that's probably not the reason why they got rid of the parade. I don't think so, at least. But I'm just saying, I think it would be difficult for them to bring one back unless somehow things changed with it. It's one of those things. That's just my thought process on it. I won't go too far into it, but I think it would be very difficult to do that. Would I like to see another nighttime parade? I would like to see the technology used from Paint the Night to be adapted to a really cool Walt Disney World parade. I don't want to necessarily say bring Paint the Night over to Walt Disney World. I said it before and I kind of got chewed out for it. I would love to see Paint the Night come over. I really would. But I would more so like to see an original parade with that technology that they used for lighting and so on. That was really super cool. Maureen asks, will you pre-tape any interviews to try to save your voices? That would be the easy way out. No, we're not. There's no intention right now to pre-tape any interviews. Will we have any little blurbs or anything like that? I mean, there might be, but right now we're intending on everything to be live. Every couple hours, we'll probably have to reset, send new links out, and so on and so forth. Just because of the limitations between Facebook and Be Live and all that other jazz. But right now, I don't think we're really going to be, I don't think we're going to be doing anything taped. So it's going to be live, just like last year. So it's going to be really kind of interesting. So let's see. I don't trust these news stories because of people like to dramatize things. Did you see the story about the pregnant lady who wasn't allowed to board a Disney cruise and threw a fit? I'm going to be honest with you. I saw that. I'm not going to say dramatize things. And the reason why I say it, I'm not disagreeing with you, Mary. Not disagreeing at all. The thing is that, that phrase perception is reality, right? And, I like to think that if you have some common sense with expectations with Disney, especially if you know who you are, there might be some things that you can try to mentally prepare for. I think the day and age of the internet has not necessarily helped, especially social media, has not necessarily helped Disney as well as many other entertainment not franchises, but entertainment entities, conglomerates even, because it seems like it's easy to go viral. It's easier to go viral now than ever before. And I think that if you can get the right audience and you can say the right things, especially if there's no real proof, it's really easy to get your name put out there as something going viral. The whole idea of the woman that was denied boarding and how it was described and so on and so forth was, in my opinion, completely blown out of proportion, not because of what she experienced, but because there was a lot of misunderstandings there. I personally think it was kind of blown out of proportion, although I don't know how you go. Disney documents the snot out of things. And, again, rules are there for your protection and the protection of those around you, including cast members. I just think when I say things are blown out of proportion, that is not meant to be a derogatory comment. It means that people have emotions that get high. And as I said, perception becomes reality. It's very difficult to deal with the situation that really stops you in your tracks. And, I think there's a lot of headlines and stuff like that they're really eye-catching, and it becomes viral. But there were a lot of people in the Disney community, not the WDW community in general, but I'm just saying just in different Disney groups that see these things and they're like, wow, that was totally completely, they see these things, they're like, wow, really? I don't know. It's one of those cases. I'm tall and like a teddy. Thanks, Margie. I appreciate that. You were on, Trisha, I am going to Teppan Dining. I know that, at least. Will I have any listener calls during the marathon? Probably. Some of the things that we've been doing have been kind of leading up to the idea of being able to do that. We'll probably have limited amount of call-ins for, limited number of call-ins during the show. We probably will not have call-ins during the actual interviews. Interviews will be just between those that are joining us as well as Danny and myself. We will not be calling in, but like usual, we'll pop up questions and comments and stuff like that, just like we usually do. Let's see. So I'm going to put this comment on the screen, and I'm going to throw a disclaimer. I can't read all of this at one time, so I'm going to click this up here. Let's talk about this. This is from Sheena. Wow, that's a big comment. I was at Universal with a friend. She is Plussized and tried out to test her seat, and the employee said that she was good to go. After quite a long wait, she went on the ride. She had trouble fastening the harness. The employee rolled her eyes, yelled at the operator to pause the ride, and had her get out and proceed to tell her that she had to wait for the other seats, the ones that they have special ones for those that are close in size. Okay. The way the employee acted and treated, I could almost side with the woman in the article. The employee handled the situation very poorly. And, you know, I appreciate that, Sheena. Thank you so much. So here's the thing. Danny and I have talked about this before. My whole take on it is that, you know what? Sometimes it's not being able to ride an attraction, but it's more like, you know, how you're treated. Now, my whole take on it is, instead of getting on Facebook and instead of going on live and this, that, and the others, you know, saying all these different things, I would just go to guest services and say, you know what? I need to tell you about a particular employee, and I am not happy with how I was treated. It doesn't have to be, you know, sensationalized or anything like that. You just have to go up there and you have to tell them when, where, and if you caught a name. Now, I've done that before, you know, especially if we were treated really poorly, which is like once out of the past 10 years. And, you know, they gave me some fast passes and stuff like that. And I did not ask for anything. And I almost refused them. Like, oh, okay, fine. I'll take fast passes. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes you just have to go and you have to, like, you know, tell somebody that can actually do something about it. Going on social media to, you know, air issues doesn't help you. You have to tell somebody there and do it in a calm, adult, professional manner, because that's the only way anybody's going to get an idea of what to do right, or better yet, what have they done wrong. You know, I've had to, you know, talk to managers, supervisors, and team leads at times because of something that just wasn't right. And I'm not very picky, so it had to be something that was significantly out of whack. But to go on social media about it doesn't really help. Deal with the problem then and there. And I guarantee you, especially when it comes to Disney, they will do something about it, or at least get the right information so they can tell their cast members how they are supposed to act. You know, but I don't know. Trying to push a viral video out there just doesn't necessarily do it for me. Have I bought any of the special magic bands other than the ones they send you? No, I have not. To be very honest, if there are a couple out there that I really would like to get, and I like the idea that, you know, now that, you know, the Magic Band version 2 is out there, that you could actually replace the puck with anything, and it, you know, could actually make your investment in a Magic Band last longer. I think that's a great idea. I certainly wasn't going to do it in the previous version because eventually, you know, they're going to die off. The battery just lasts only so long. But I haven't. There are a couple of them that I would really, really like. John, I'm not going to tell you if I'm going to wear sweaters or shorts during your trip. Why? Because even in December, I wear shorts. Sorry, buddy. It's one of those things. Maureen also mentions that she thinks they'll wait until the 50th anniversary in 2021 for the parade. It's possible. You know, right now it's all speculation, so it's one of those things. And Christine kind of was thinking the same way. So let's see here. See, my wife's watching. Shout out to my lovely wife. Hi, honey. Love you. I know everybody's like, oh, everybody just went, oh, or everyone went, ugh. So, Aaron asked a great question. I love this question. What's your favorite park entrance? Yours is Epcot because of the loop music as you enter. I have to agree with you on that. I love the music at Epcot. In fact, I actually, my alarm clock on my bedside table, I have my iPod sits in it. And the funny part about it is that the first track on one of my playlists is actually like one of the songs that is from Epcot. And the problem of it is that sometimes you're in a deep sleep and you kind of hear the music in the background and your dreams kind of turn into like you're at Epcot. This is a whole lot of fun. You realize, oh wait, crap, that's my alarm going off. That's a bad part about Epcot music. I've done that more than one time. I will be completely honest. So, but also I'll tell you this. I love going into Magic Kingdom just because the music just kind of makes you cheerful. I love the Hollywood style music, old time in Hollywood Studios. I just think it's really cool. Second to Epcot, I would probably say is Animal Kingdom. I love the background music for Animal Kingdom. I really do. It's fabulous. I have the soundtrack. It is absolutely wonderful. And Erin, my wife, agrees with you that she loves the Epcot music too. In fact, I just made her a CD that has a whole bunch of Epcot music on it. What's the date for the marathon? Mike asks. That would be May 19th. That's a week from this coming Saturday. It's going to start around 11 o'clock Eastern time and go until whenever we die. Or until we're out of guests. One of the two. Hopefully it's the latter, not the former. And we will be posting out starting next week we're going to start posting our links to the donation pages, and that's going to be really cool. That's all set up from Give Kids World. They've helped us out by taking care of that, and that's really pretty cool. Barbara asks, oh my gosh, it'll be my first time at all the parks. And I'm assuming she's saying I weigh a certain amount. Will I be able to ride anything? Of course you will. You'll be able to, there's probably a lot of things you'll be able to ride. As I said before, it kind of depends on your body makeup. Where is your weight? I've got most of mine in my stomach area, my lower part of my torso. And I weigh more than that. I'm fine. But, there's other people that, it differs. So it should not be a problem. As I said, probably right now, the only attraction I have any real issues on is Flight of Passage. I shouldn't say issues. Concerns whether or not I'll fit. Flight of Passage. And I, just give it a try. As I said, give it a try. You never know until you actually go and do it. So let's see. Yes. No, it's Saturday, May 19th, not the 18th. 18th is a Friday. Let's see. And Heather basically also mentions, Barbara, don't worry. My daughter was around that, and she fit everything just fine. So just keep that in mind. Enrique asks a really good one here. If Disney offered you one free item from any of the parks, what would you get? A souvenir, art piece, accessory? Ooh, that's a good question. And I think it would vary depending on who you asked within my family. Because I'm the kind of person, I collect watches. So there's a couple watch places within the parks, mainly at Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, that they have some really nice watches, really nice Disney themed watches. I would be so all over that. And my taste in watches they're usually not cheap. I'll just kind of leave it at that. That's really cool. So let's see here. That's what I would do. I guess you consider that as a souvenir. Let's see. Oh yeah, my wife's like, to answer your question, is she would love to get the gold necklace of the castle. Yeah, and she's actually pointed out one to me before in the past, so that was really cool, really pretty cool. Let's see, and and so my wife says hi from me and John, my son, who's probably getting ready to go to bed. Let's see. Christine says that her alarm every day is Soren background music. Now, you know, what's interesting about the Soren background music is that you have the Soren soundtrack, but as you walk through the queue and as well as you walk out of the queue or out of the attraction itself, there is other background music there. And some of it is from like Apollo 13. There's also other, I used to have it written down somewhere. There's a whole bunch of other music that is in that queue, not just Soren. And some of that music, I'll have to like get a list of all the music that I've been able to find just related to the parks, because you don't realize it, but there's a lot of different park music out there that's mainstream music that you can actually, you know, buy on iTunes or Google Play, and you can have it for your own collection. I should go ahead. I should create that list. That would actually be a really cool list. Not so scary or very merry. That's a good one. I've done both, but if I had to pick one, I'll do very merry. I just think the snow is cool. Let's see. Also, Christine asks, you know, speaking of Soren, it would be cool if they would have different scene each time you went on, kind of like Star Tours. Soaring over California, soaring over Florida, soaring over the world. You know, that's kind of an interesting. That's an interesting thought process. You know what? The thing is, though, it's so intermixed with the music. You can almost. I'm sure it could be done, but you know how sometimes you go on Star Tours and you end up seeing like the same thing 2 or 3 times in a row, you know, the same type of storyline. You know, that's kind of a bummer at times. I know it's kind of random, but it's still kind of a bummer. I think they probably don't want to have a bummer when it comes to one of their premier attractions, such as Star Tours. Let's see. Yeah, my wife taking notes. I'm sure she is. And I'm going to give a shout out to this guy here. Casey. My son-in-law to be. Casey, I'm glad you can join me. Good to have you here. And yes, I was talking about you earlier. Which, if you were watching the show, you already saw or heard. There you go. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I miss it. I miss being out there right now. And the big part to it is that, you know, I probably listen to Disney music more, just to kind of in the background, because it helps me concentrate. It's nice to have that in the background. It's just one of those things. Have I ever found the Epcot fountain music coming from my wife? Yeah, I think I do have it now. I had to clean up a lot of clean my music up a bit, and I think I found it, so that shouldn't really be a problem. I think I know what it is. In fact, a lot of the fountain music is different because it changes throughout the day. So there's one of those things. Umbrellas or ponchos? Ponchos. Umbrellas get destroyed very, very easily. And I think ponchos, you could just, you know, dry them up, fold them up, shove them up, and you should be fine. Also ponchos are also really good that if they're dry and you want to sit down on the ground waiting for something, you can keep your butt dry. It's more of a multitasker than a unitasker. John asks a question I will answer of his this time, since he's been trying to trick me into telling him when I'm going. What donation amount are we hoping to achieve during the marathon? We don't necessarily, we're gonna announce that a little bit later, but I will say that we're hoping, last year we did $1,600 in donations, and that was absolutely fabulous for a first time. We are really hoping to significantly increase that donation this year. And that's going to be able to be done through the help of everybody here. And, we don't, other than asking people to buy some, a shirt or buttons or something like that, just to kind of help us offset some costs of the show, we never ask anybody for money. And this is not going to us. This is going to a great charity. And, something, going to an organization that really helps the Disney community at large. And so if anybody's able to, hold off and have some donations available right at that time, we would be very appreciative. Those that give Kids World will also be very, very appreciative. Bailey mentions that she loves Norway's old loop because most of it was from Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is actually a series that I've never seen. Don't hate me. I just haven't seen it. I'd like to. I just haven't seen it. So I'll have to say. Am I going to wear a costume during Not So Scary? I'm not going to see Not So Scary this year. There you go again, John. You're once again trying to trip me up. I've never worn a costume to Not So Scary. I did a little Disney bounding, but it was Disney bounding before Disney bounding became a thing. I kind of wore something of an outfit that looked like I was dressed up like Mickey Mouse. Of course, there was no mistake, and I was definitely not Mickey Mouse. But it was kind of funny because my wife made the shorts, and they were like really big. And I had a black shirt on, and I had my Mickey Mouse hat, but I also had a set of my Sorcerer Apprentice ears on top. I looked goofy. People were laughing at me. It was fun. Let's see. What's my favorite ride at Walt Disney World? It kind of depends. It really does, because first off, depends on which park. I'm a huge Rock and Roller Coaster fan. I love myself some Mount Everest, and Flight of Passage is absolutely fabulous. I would probably say over at Epcot, Test Track, I love, but I also love, just going to see the, some of the different attractions about the different countries at Epcot. At Epcot. And let's see, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom is one I really haven't touched on. I have a special place in my heart for Space Mountain, but it's also getting a little harder for me to ride just because it is a little bit harsh of a ride. I would probably say any of the mountains. I think that would be the best way of putting it. Any of the mountains is what I would do. Let's see. What is the money for? Barbara, Give Kids the World Village is a organization that the best way of putting it is that they help families who have kids with special needs to be able to come down to Florida and have a magical vacation. Sometimes it's difficult to accommodate, younger people that have, special needs. And if you go out to, in fact, I'm going to double check the website here really quick. I want to make sure I got the right address. I sure do. Got the right address. I'm going to go ahead and post up on the screen here really quick. If you want to know more about Give Kids the World, go ahead and just go out to their website. Find out what they do and what their mission is. GiveKidsTheWorld.org, GKTW.org. And they, out there, they will be able to tell you more information that you'll ever need to know. I had a manager on my former team who has been able to take advantage of the Give Kids World facilities. He's got a couple boys that are wheelchair bound and also have some special needs as well. And he's like, Chris, I don't know how I could have had a better trip because they helped me be able to accommodate what was going, anything that they needed for their kids. And, this goes way above and beyond your average resort. It is a paradise for kids in that manner. So it is one of those things. I hope that helps out. Go ahead and take a look at their website, GKTW.org, tw.org. John asks, are we going to have special shirts or swag for sale during this marathon? We are going to have a limited edition shirt available where all proceeds will go to Give Kids the World. All I got to say is this. I saw the proof for the shirt from one of our admins over at the WDW community page, and I fell in love with it. And Danny and I are going to be kind of where if everything goes well, we may or not be able to get at least our shirts in before the show. But we'll have them available through one of our vendors who will basically ship the shirts directly to you. It will not come through us. It'll go through one of our vendors, very much like if you buy some of our shirts now. But they are just really cool. It's going to be something that I think you'll love to wear, and I think it's really kind of cool. Kevin mentions he's trying the Casey's corn dog nuggets for next trip. There you go. All right. Besides Casey's, what's my favorite quick service food meal? Boy, that's a good question. I know if Danny was here, he would say something like he loves to go to restaurant, not Mark Rush, the Tangerine Cafe. I love going to Flame Tree Barbecue. I really do. Flame Tree Barbecue is really good. I really enjoy myself some Flame Tree. I'd probably say a very close second, if not tied. I would probably say, what's it called? Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe. That's right. I like that place too. So, Mickey or Minnie? For me, it's Mickey. My wife, Minnie. Simple as that. Let's see. Now, Enrique is asking me, will I be partaking on any gingerbread from the Grand Floridian during my trip? I think now you're starting to get, you and John have got to be collaborating in the background. Both of you are asking questions now because you're trying to do this. I think that's pretty funny. Not answering it. So we'll see at that. Although, I guess I could, if it's not between now and December. But probably not. But I'll say this. I probably wouldn't because too many carbs. Gotcha. So there you have it. Let's see. Jerry also made mention, when she worked at Nike in Kissimmee, she would actually volunteer once a month at Give Kids the World, and it was right down the street, and it was so much fun interacting with the kids. That's really cool. And you know what, Jerry? I just want to say thank you for being a volunteer anywhere. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's so many things require volunteers to make it happen. And I just think it's just solid awesomeness when people volunteer to help things out. Barbara's asking, how do we get the shirts? We're going to have a link out on our website at BehindEarsPodcast.net when they become available, and we'll be plugging that away where you can go and pick up the special edition shirt, as well as any of our other swag as well. Now, there's also one other thing I wanted to mention. There are some guests that are also that are lined up that said that they have certain products, etc., that they offer through their website, and what they have decided that if you want, you can buy some of their stuff as well if it interests you, and they're going to donate their proceeds to Give Kids the World as well, which I just think it's flipping awesome that's going to happen. So, Margie asked, what am I doing for Mother's Day? I don't know. I really don't. I'm definitely going to be cooking my wife an awesome meal. We may go down to a particular restaurant that we really like. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. I don't know if I want to say it really too loud because I can actually hear her in the other room. And if I can hear her, that means she can hear me. And if I want to keep it a surprise, I can't say too much. But I usually ask her what she wants to do, and I don't think she's going to want to do much. I think we're just all going to kind of chill out and have a nice, enjoyful Mother's Day. And sometimes we just like to sit outside on the porch and just hang out as a family. So let's see. What favorite food stand will I be visiting this year at Food and Wine? Yours is France. You know what? I don't usually do a lot of dining around the world during Food and Wine, which I won't be going to or will be going to. It kind of depends, because it's like, will I or won't I? I don't know. Although there's that one place that has that one thing with that one drink or by that one part of, World Showcase. Yeah, I'll probably be going over there. And if all else fails, there's always the Grand Marnier slush or getting myself a pint of Stella. I've been to Food and Wine a couple times. I enjoyed it, but I didn't necessarily go there specifically for Food and Wine. In fact, most times that we've been there during Food and Wine or any of the other festivals, it's been complete happenstance. Will I be having a big turkey dinner while I am there? I don't know. I guess it depends on where I go, because you can have turkey dinner almost anywhere there. In fact, there's actually places on property that serve turkey all year round. You're funny, Christine. You guys are awesome. Kevin's sticking up for me and says, stop trying to find out when Chris is going. All right. So I'll tell you what, I am done with the questions because I just realized how long I've been talking. I've been talking for over an hour now, and this time has gone by so quickly. Oi. So I'll tell you what, this has been a lot of fun. And, one of these days, Danny's going to have to do the whole Ask Me Anything. I will tell you this, when we do the marathon show next Saturday, or not 19th. I'm sure that we're going to have some time where we're going to interact with our guests. A lot of times when we interact with, our guests and we do interviews, we put a limited number of questions up. And so, that's mainly to help the flow of conversation. We will probably have times where Danny and I will have some call-ins. We've got a lot of different things that we're going to be giving away, and some of the things will require, basically in order to enter, you're going to have to donate something. There are going to be some things that we're going to give away just by answering a trivia question. There's going to be some things that we're going to give away just by calling in, like being caller number 5. So we'll have to see how that goes. But we have a lot of really cool things, including a Dooney and Burke that is brand new, never used, still has the wrapping on it. And we're going to be, basically that's going to require a donation to enter in to win that wonderful item. So I'll tell you what, I do appreciate you guys. I really do. Listen to me talk like this for an hour, for fun questions. I know you guys are just trying to get me. It's kind of funny. I'll tell you what, though, seriously, you find Mr. Chris or Uncle Danny out there, you're going to get some swag. And if we don't have any swag on us, we're going to take your address, or at least your email address. We're going to contact you when we get back. We're going to send you something. It's as simple as that. Never be afraid to see someone with a Behind the Ears podcast t-shirt, button, or hat even. Because you never know who it might be. It might be Danny. It might be me. It might be a member of our team. Because sometimes even our members of our team, our admins over at the WDW community page, which is something that you all should be a part of, they'll have swag too. And they go at different times than us. So if you see one of our admins and you see someone wearing a Behind the Ears podcast button or t-shirt or something like that, you have all the chance in the world to get some swag from them. So I'll tell you what, do me a favor. Take a listen to this in just 1 second. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home. And that's our show, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, for even just being a part of what is, kind of an ad hoc show. I did have something planned for tonight, but I really needed a conversation with Danny because I really wanted to hear what he had to say about some things. And I love having conversations with Uncle Danny. But I'll tell you what, you guys make this show. This just goes to show that this show here is all about you. And we really appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of it. And with that said, until we meet again, I hope you have an absolutely magical day. Take care.